Hi, my name is Nyasha Vera, and I'm the director and producer of The Virgin Cure movie. The Virgin Cure movie is a documentary film that explores infant and child rape and its core relation to what has been named the Virgin Cure myth, which is a myth that having sex with a virgin cures or rids one of HIV and AIDS. Recent statistics show that a pre-adolescent girl in South Africa is most likely to get raped than learn how to read. Unfortunately, this atrocity does not only affect South Africa, but the entire sub-Sahara region at large. With the high numbers of HIV and AIDS infections in that area, if a woman or a girl is raped, they are most likely to get infected. Our story follows the lives of 4 young girls who were raped and now have to live with the aftermath. The purpose of our documentary is to raise awareness, to be an advocate and a voice for the silent victims that not only suffer quietly, but have to live with the aftermath and oftentimes the added stigma of contracting HIV and AIDS through no fault of their own. We would like to shed much needed light to this atrocity, and therefore we are looking to partner with a celebrity who would act as an ambassador for this cause. We would like the celebrity to make appearances as it relates to the film and the cause, i.e. benefit dinners, interviews, and any other related events. Thank you.
People are having that belief of if you can sleep with a child, you can wash away your status.
And this is known as the virgin rape myth, and some have speculated that this is what's driving the epidemic in Africa.
And he just take me on top of her. I ask her, what are you doing to me? Why are you grabbing me? He just put me on top of him.
It came in the media, and because the media can influence people, everybody believed that whoever rapes a child is because they want to cleanse themselves of AIDS.
In fact, such cases have been very rare. When men rape children, it seems they do it for other reasons.
I've had discussions with people who have had such a myth, but most of them were like, they never believed in that.
What I think motivates a rapist is a need to control, a need to have power.
I tried to fight back. But I couldn't. I gave up and then he raped me.
You know, when it comes to violence, we can do 2 things. We can fight or we can talk, and there pretty much isn't anything else we can do.
Now what I can say to everyone who will be raped or who is being raped right now, please don't keep quiet.
In viewing the film for the first time, it immediately, I had such an emotional response.
Well, the movie is traumatic, really, to put some thought into what's happening in these countries to these women. It's a travesty. It's not something you want to think about, but it's something we have to think about if we're going to make a difference.
The movie is very impactful. It obviously addresses an issue that isn't covered very well, not here, and especially not even domestically. So I think it does an excellent job of bridging the gap one film with one voice, but it reaches multiple audiences. It reaches the audiences back home that need to be inspired to speak up, to be a part of this of the messaging, as well as being part of the solution. And likewise, it allows folks over in this end, like the great folks here at Vital Voices, to take part in addressing the issue, bringing it to the attentions of folks, but also setting in place all the different ways in which the issues raised in the video can be addressed.
First of all, I really need to commend Nyasha for bringing those issues to the front lines. Everybody's talking about Africa rising. The tendency today is to rebrand Africa, but she's reminding us that we shouldn't forget the suffering and the challenges that the people are really going through. And that's why I really supported her movie. And I'm sure that we're all moving forward, building the continent. And we need to keep the focus on the young girls and all the issues they're facing: rape, education, poverty, HIV, and male domination.
I could say it's an eye-opener, although I work here and so I'm well aware of what the problem is. But it's so tragic and so appalling. I think the more people are aware of this, the better. I'd like to know what happens to some of these children and the perpetrators in the films. It feels like they are operating with complete impunity. Nothing happens. I think that's an important thing to get across. You know, the mother who's willing to speak out. Is anything done? Is anybody brought to justice? We need some examples. Somebody has to pay a price in order for other people to think that they can't get away with this. Right now, it seems like they have a complete liberty to do whatever they want. Very, very troubling.
Oh, I thought it was excellent. I think that it's a really great job about being able to go and focus on bringing awareness to this, because a lot of people just don't know about it. And I think that it's also a great catalyst for being able to implement change too, because it seems like there's a lot of conversation around being able to change in regards to both the legislation around the actual issue, as well as also being able to go and put proper education in place. So it's very exciting. It's very well done.
I think that the movie is very powerful and very impactful. This is an area and an issue that I've been aware of for some time, and I've always been amazed that it doesn't get more attention, so hopefully the movie will achieve the raising of awareness and just get a bigger audience aware of and understanding of what's going on, because people really need to have their eyes opened to this issue.
I thought it was really enlightening. About an issue that I definitely heard about in the media before, but I guess it took a new approach to it, and very striking to hear all those testimonies from people who lived through this type of thing. It was a great movie.
Well, the viewing of the Virgin Myth I found absolutely appalling in a sense, where we had so many women that had talked about how they had been raped at a young age, and how the perpetrators were either not prosecuted, or they weren't found, or they weren't even spoken about. And so I thought it was very enlightening. I very much hope that the film is furthered, and it is being able to be syndicated throughout Southern Africa, where the people can then be educated on this terrible thing that's happening to the young girls in sub-Saharan Africa.
I think the video was prolific in that this was probably one of the first times that victims have the opportunity to be heard without regret, without blame, without the idea that perhaps a large portion of the rape or the stigma around the rape and what happened to them was their fault. And so the first step begins with the victim being able to convey that this is not only happening, but it's a problem within the community. And then that's when it begins to spread into people who can actually inflict change, and people who can actually bring about the necessary the words that need to be spoken in order to bring such an issue to justice?
It's one thing to hear about this travesty that's happening. It's another thing to see the faces of the children that are being affected. And I feel very strongly that this film will help, that it can be the voice that these young children need to bring attention to this matter so that help can